Hello, everyone, and welcome to Fix Your Life or Don't. This segment is all about sharing tools and topics that have been especially helpful for my clients, many of whom identify as LGBTQ, minority, if not both. Take a listen, see whether something resonates with you. Maybe it won't. But what if it does? Lean in only as much as you feel comfortable. Thinking about what we were just talking about, this idea about fix your life or don't is about accountability about these issues, right? So we think about Diddy. If we think about R. Kelly, where's the accountability to say, you know what? I know from a social norm standpoint that what I'm doing morally and value wise is wrong. Am I taking accountability and doing something different, especially given the resources that I have?
Yeah, that's big time. Accountability is such a big piece of it because you have to be able to take accountability for any effective change to actually happen. Like I think about I work with people who deal with addiction. I mean, I'm in recovery myself, and in order for me to get to recovery, I had to say what I'm doing is not what I want to do, and it's not right in a sense. And then my mind frame was able to change and take accountability. I'm sorry, take accountability and then also change to a now sober experience of living. And you have to like take accountability to realize that you need a new way of life, and the way that you were once living was just not cool or not okay.
But it starts at that place of realizing that the way that you're living is problematic. Whatever you're doing is problematic. And when we go back to these high profile figures, again, who have more resources than the average person, that's the part that always gets me. You have more resources. If you want a therapist to be at your house on Monday at 10 o'clock, and it is Sunday at 10 p.m., you want somebody there like Monday morning, you can make it work. You can snap your fingers and generally it's going to be there for you.
That's if you see your situation as an issue. Like you have to see it as an issue. If you don't think of it as an issue, then you're not going to follow up and do the things that you actually kind of need to do. Like even in recovery, one of the first step is I have to admit that I'm powerless over my addiction and that you need support and help. Like I feel like that fits with these same people. Like you have to admit that I'm powerless over it because I was groomed to believe that this is normal, or maybe I'm still fighting to think like maybe this is not the wrong thing for us to do. Maybe this is right. And although that sounds asinine to a lot of us because it's not how we think, it may be how these people think. And so you have to pull them out of that thought process or help guide them out of that thought process so that they'll know like, this is not a moral thing for me to do. This is not the behavior that I want to continue. And I want to live a new life and discover what that looks like.
Could not agree with you more. I also wanted to bring up this way of thinking or a tool as I like to think about it in terms of what is worth your time and what isn't. So when it comes to the work that I'm doing with clients, it's about what's going to keep you emotionally regulated or, to put it simply, stable. And the way to think about that is what is worth my time or not. The way I describe this to clients is if you think about there is an imaginary battery in your back. We have a finite amount of energy that we can use every single day. After that, we're done. Our capacity is ended. We need to go to sleep. We need to rejuvenate. We need to do whatever we need to do. So given that, how are you designating that energy? What are you putting it towards? And if we think about just day-to-day life, sometimes people bring you situations, we'll call it just drama. Let's put it plainly.
Mm-hmm.
People will bring you some drama, and it's a question of, okay, once somebody's brought that to you, presented you with this, is this something that you want to deal with? Because it's going to deplete your battery, possibly deplete it even more than if you were just doing whatever you were intending in that moment or whatever you had planned for the day. So it becomes this question of what do you want to use your energy towards? Do you see it as precious or not? Because at the end of the day, you have to go and rejuvenate. You have to go and replenish. So is this worth your time? Which maybe brings us to a situation. I'll let the viewers know this, because Jerry and I have been friends for quite some time. We go out, we socialize, we party, and we went out. And what was it for Halloween?
Halloween, yeah.
And so I'm gonna let you lead the way in terms of like what occurred.
Okay, so we're two different people, two different personalities. And I won't give a preface. I'll just say what happened. So we went to this club here in DC, and I experienced racism. I experienced racism, and it really ran me hot. I was like, I can't believe 2025. Here I am at this gay club, and I'm experiencing racism in the gay club, which still exists, by the way. And I was just so taken aback that I got in a mood, and I was like, "Bitch, I don't want to talk to nobody. I'm annoyed. I'm irritated, and I whenever I'm irritated, I get quiet." And that can be seen as like a little violence and just not good. I'm quiet because I don't want to say something out of anger or talk about the situation because I find that it can reignite how I'm feeling about it. Because this was like our first time ever having anything that was remotely close, like I was very quiet, and I don't know what Jordan was experiencing at the time, but I also noticed that Jordan got quiet, and I'll let you talk from there.
So I wasn't fully aware of all that transpired within the moment, right? So it was he experienced this. He went up to the bar. I was in, I guess, earshot slash visually there, but I also was paying attention to different things that were happening around us. So I know that we immediately left the space. He was like, "Why don't we go downstairs?" And he went downstairs, and then there was definitely a mood shift. And something I'm very keenly aware of is when my friends, their energy starts to shift, and I noticed it had. And knowing that your energy shifted, it became this automatic question in my mind. It's like, how do I want to engage knowing his energy shifted? Because I said, if I engage in this type of way, that I know that it's going to deplete my little battery. And if we think about like the work that we do, seeing clients, like I don't go out as much. I spend more
Same.
time like one-on-one with friends or in very small groups. That's why I can kind of protect my energy. So I was out. It's Halloween. We're in theme here because I was Fred and you were Velma.
Yeah.
And this happened. I said, I like know that if I go and engage with Jerry in this way, that it's going to deplete my battery and I'm going to go into a hole at that point, meaning I have to immediately go home. So I said, okay, I know that Jerry is going to figure this out. And I know that we always come back together. We always have a conversation. It just, sometimes it can't always be in the moment.
Yeah.
And that's absolutely okay.
Thank you for giving me that space as a friend. And, truly as a person, like in that moment, I thought, because I was excited about Halloween. I invited Jordan. I was like, yes, let's go out and have fun. And so I was looking forward to this night. And at some point, I stepped away from the bar and I just was standing outside just to kind of like, gather my thoughts. And I was trying to figure out a way for us to stay out. I was like, I don't want to, hurt Jordan's feelings about like saying I should go home and just, relax for the rest of the day. I didn't want to be the person to end the fun. But I had to really like take like inventory of how I was feeling. And I was just like, I would probably rather be home. And I was scared to tell you that because I didn't want that to come off as, damn, you invited me out and now you want to go home because one thing happened. Because like in all honesty, with the friends that I've had in the past, that's how they would respond. They would get upset at you for wanting to go home, even if you don't want everybody else to go home. It's like, I just want to go home and, just chill for a second. And then you're villainized for that.
Yeah. And my response was, okay, if this, because once he came back in after having some time, so he came back in, he explained, this is how I've been feeling. I know I thought I was going to try to push through, but I don't feel like I want to do that. I think it's probably better for me to call it a night. And I was like, okay, I understand. And we ended the night right there. I'm not the person. I will not speak for anybody else. Absolutely not. But I will say I understand, again, appreciate when there's a mood shift from my friend. And I always want the best for the people around me. So if this is not the environment for you, then that's completely fine. I went out. I can say I went to a bar here in DC, or let's call it a bar, not a club. But we went out, we did our thing, we had our clothes on. And I was like, at the end of the day, I'm good. Okay, people saw me as Fred from Scooby Doo, and they saw me in the blonde wig because Lord knows I was looking all types of special. All types of special. I was feeling like I looked like Mary J. Okay, I was like my little swoop and everything. I had a little swoop and everything. So.
Oh my God. I just couldn't believe how many people asked me who I was. I was like, bitch, the only difference between me and my Velma outfits, I had locks at the time. And so I didn't put a wig on. I just had my locks. People were like, oh my God, who are you? We thought you were Velma or the other girl. I was like, bitch, look at the outfits. How, like, my skin color is the only thing that's different. And like, I feel like that made it even more like a guy asked me that outside, like, who are you? I said, white man, what do I look like? Oh, I thought it was Velma. Bitch, yes, that's who I am. I'm like, what's the difference? I was like, there's literally nothing different besides my hair.
But a lot of those people were also, let's just say, my little phrase is they were two sheets to the wind. So a lot of those people, by the time we got there.
I feel like there was two sheets to the wind, but I also feel like, no. You remember that black man asked me that at the bar? I stopped talking to him immediately. Girl, I said, what? And I turned around. I was like, sir, come on. You done been around the bike a little too long.
I mean, my levity over here. I'm still over here with my little blonde wig doing a little swoop, okay? So I was like, you couldn't tell me nothing. You could not know who I was. I was like, look at here. I'm over here with my Mary J. Blige / Fred from Scooby-Doo moment, and I'm feeling it. But if my friend is not, I respect that. But again, bringing this back to, is it worth my time or not?
Yeah.
Asking yourself that question ultimately is so important. What is worth your energy or not? If it's going to deplete you, no matter what the situation is, maybe you should just walk away from it, right? Okay. And do it as as best you can in a respectful and a cordial way. But I think be protective of your energy. If you love yourself and want to make sure that you're always at the best place and you're emotionally stable, that is a really good question to ask yourself on a regular basis. Especially if you're in touch with your body and how something is making you feel. That's a good question to say, like, oh my gosh, I'm starting to feel tense. I'm
Yeah.
starting to feel frustrated. I'm feeling a little anger.
Yeah.
Then you know what? Maybe this isn't something I should be dealing with because this is going to deplete me. This is going to put me in a different place I need to be. And there's other places I want to put my energy. I ask myself that all the time. And people always say, Jordan, oh my gosh, you do a lot between the different things that I do, projects and whatnot. But that's important because the basis of what I do is about helping people, and I keep that at the forefront because if I'm depleted, there are these people that are not going to get help. Now, mind you, I need to make sure I'm always in a good place.
Yes.
I have to rejuvenate
Don't
and
burn
take my
out.
time. Definitely not burn out, but it's important that I have the energy to do the work.
Yeah.
That's really important. I love my work. I love helping people. I love being here and having this space. And I have to be protective of my energy and knowing like what's for me and I have the energy for this versus, oh, here I was dealing with somebody who wanted to invite me into some drama 3 hours, 4 hours before we shot today. Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
I'm cackling at this 3 hours or 4 hours.
What? Because you know sometimes the kids like pull you and stuff. It's like that has nothing. I'm good. Thank you.
No, like I've learned, protecting my peace in a sense. I've learned that no is a full sentence.
Ooh.
Like, I mean, I've known it for a while, but like, have you ever been in a situation to where you are getting ready to argue with somebody, you're getting ready to defend something, and then you go, "Why am I having this conversation with you?" I've had that where you getting ready to like go back and forth. And like I've paused. I always tell people take a beat. Just count to one. I took a beat, and I kind of looked like this, and I thought to myself really quickly: no matter what happens at the end of this conversation, I'm gonna still feel the way I'm gonna feel, and you are too. So why am I gonna have this conversation? So I looked at that person and I said, nope. And I just kind of walked off, and like they were alarmed, like, "Bitch, what you mean no?" Like, no, I'm just not. You can cuss me out if you want to. I don't care.
You know what? People will turn that situation and often say like you're being dismissive.
Yeah, you're running.
You're like you're not willing to have the conversation. No. You know what I'm not willing to do is just have a conversation that's not going to go anywhere, and this appears to be that way, and it's going to deplete my energy. And I'm sorry, but there are some other things I need to do before the close of this day. There are some things I need to do, and I'm not saying I don't value you as a person. I just know like right now my energy is best served in this place over there, and I hope if you love and respect me as a human being that you can be okay with that. And if not, that says more about you and what you think of me as a person than it says about me.
Do you say that like most of that to them?
Yes.
Oh, child, after my nope, I'll be done.
Well, I'm okay with saying that because, see, to me, that's the minimum amount of energy, and I can say it one time.
That's it.
That's it. And that is
it.
it. Like, I don't have to say it one time that day. I said it one time in life. There you know. There you go.
And the thing with that is like the nope, like, it's not meant to be dismissive. I usually use a nope when I feel like there is no purpose of this conversation, or you're trying to rage bait me into something. I just be like, no, I'm gonna go about my business, or you gonna go about yours. But some people just like to argue.
Why do that to yourself, right? If you think that what you do brings value in terms of your placement in people's lives and your relationships with them, the work that you do, like that's stuff that requires concentration. Again, it goes back to this energy. So why give something that is just about drama and about an argument and a back and forth that doesn't seem to have any type of resolve, or that's at least not going to be on the horizon? Why give that precious energy over to that situation?
Because people want to win.
No, thank you.
Okay. Is that it for your Unbound? I mean, not Unbound. Fix Your Life or not.
That is it. I think that was just like what I wanted to make sure that, because I find that so helpful for me, and then my clients have found it so helpful. So this is a tool, and I often tell my clients, like, come in, you have your notebook ready, because these are tools that you can take with you. Because as we know, the idea is for you to graduate from therapy at some point.
Yeah.
We're not meant to be here for the rest of your life. We want you to graduate. We're just the guys in this situation. So this is something that you can write down, and 2 years, 3 years from now, you may need a refresher. That doesn't automatically mean like, I need to call up the therapist and I need to sit up in the chair. It's no. I've got all these tools now from that time, and I can just flip through my book and use them.
Yeah.
So Is this worth my time? Think about that battery in your back again. I think that's just so important and crucial for us.
I still have my notes from my therapist, like previously.
I love my notes. I keep my own notebook for my my therapy.
I use a digital one, so because your phone is always with you.
This is true. I don't know why, but when it comes to me and my personal therapy, I actually like writing things down. Like everything else, I'm typing, and I come from the typing technology world. But when it comes to, it's something more something that sticks and resonates with me when I write it down.
It commits it to memory.
Yeah.
And during the session when I'm in therapy, I'll write it down, but I'll like bring it to a concise like bullet points and put it in my phone, because sometimes you need to go back and just, reaffirm some things.
Something we've touched on this kind of lightly here, what I think is worth calling out, is that we are mental health professionals, but we also have our own therapist.
Yes. We're human.
What was that?
We're human.
Right. People don't think about that when it comes to our field. They're just like, no, you're the therapist. You don't need one.
Oh, you don't have problems.
What?
I date these niggas too. Of course I got problems.
Right.
No.
Like having a therapist is helpful for us too, especially given what we deal with, right?
Yeah.
So while everybody else is dealing with just their stuff walking through the world, we're dealing with all of that times 5, 10, 15, depending on what your client caseload is, right?
And most people think you're like, as a mental health professional, you're supposed to be able to deal with all situations. And here's the thing, I can deal with situations, but I cannot control you. So if I'm trying to, be the mental health, if I'm trying to, be nice and kind and like, flatten the situation, and you're not, I can't deal with that. Like, I'm going to be burned out. I'm going to want to cuss you out. I have emotions and feelings too. And I'm a therapist when I'm a therapist. That's my job. That's what I do. That's what I love. But I am Jerry. I am a person. I've had experiences. I have feelings, and I have responses.
I mean, a way that I like to kind of rephrase this is there is Jordan the therapist, but Jordan the therapist works particular hours, right? So there's Jordan the therapist. I generally start seeing clients at like later in the morning, and I go into very early evening. Those are the therapist hours. Like I get up earlier, but guess what? That's just Jordan the person. When I see my therapist, that is Jordan the person showing up. That's not Jordan the therapist, right? Because he is human. He has all these things that have happened in the past that he continues to work on and reconcile. And then we get to a point where we segue as, okay, now that I've dealt with that for myself and have gained some peace around that for the day or for the moment, then I can move and transition into Jordan the therapist.
Me gusto.
Yeah. So
I'm curious. I don't know, random. Because I'm not on the apps. I haven't been on for a little while. And this has happened to me, where you have been on an app and you run into somebody who knows you're a mental health professional. Like, you haven't met them. They're like, oh, you're a mental health professional. And they're like surprised that you're on the app. Like, why are you on the app? Like kind of like a fish out of water. Like they know you're a sexual being, but it's like, really, you on this app with me?
I have never had that happen before. People tend to get what I would phrase as too excited about it. I don't know, something about the idea of dating a therapist for some people. It's just like this.
See, that's why I'll be talking about hookups. But I remember I was hooking up with this guy. We're in the motion, right? And he starts to look around the room. And I have like my degrees. I have pictures of me traveling. I have like all the things on my wall. And like mid-stroke, he's like, I want to take y'all on a date. Nigga, bitch, I packed up my pussy and went home. Because what are you doing? What you mean? No. Like, sir, I mean, he was cute. But like, it was just like a different experience. Because like, it wasn't until he saw my accolades and stuff, he was like, oh, I want to take you on a date. And I was just like,
But here's the thing, though. Okay, so you and I have talked about this before in terms of what you say or don't say in these types of spaces. But you and I both have very unique last names. Like, there's not a whole bunch of, like, it's not a Johnson, it's not a Smith. It's very unique. So if you know my first name and you put my last name, and, people are nosy or curious, right? If they put either of our names in, just based off of what we do and outside of just therapists, just full disclosure here, Jay and I have spoken on a number of like panels and led discussions. I've founded a nonprofit. You've done work with the nonprofit. Mm-hmm. So it's a very short leap. Like, short of you just not being curious or finding out my last name, you will find out about this work anyway. So I'm a person that likes to lead with the most amount of information so you can make a decision up front, like as best you can. So if it's if you find out I'm a therapist and you're overly excited, then that informs me about how I need to move with you, which may mean like I need to move away from you.
Yeah.
That's okay. That's okay though, right? Because this is my job. I need to move away.
Oh my God. Like as you would think about, like I've also like had, hookups too, where they find out I'm a therapist, and after the hookup, you sit there naked and they want to tell you about their problems.
Oh no.
Oh yeah, I've had that a couple times.
Oh no.
Yeah, child.
No, that's an absolute like no.
Yeah, I don't know if it's weird. It's just, I don't know.
But you know what? Being a therapist and dating is like a superpower because it's like you get to see through the bullshit like
Yeah.
quicker than most people can. It's like, oh, I see through all the bullshit.
Oh my God,
you
yes.
can try, but it's kind of like what was it? Wonder Woman who had the braces, like ching, ching,
Yeah.
ching. Like, oh yeah, no.
I disconnect so quickly.
No,
and I disconnect off what some people may see as simple stuff, but is big. Like kind of going back to the beginning, accountability. Like if you are a person, you say, hey, on Tuesday I want to go to the movies with you, and this is the date that you've come to me with. That's fine, cool. We can continue checks. That day I might reach out to you and just check in. Hey, how you doing? Blah blah blah. But if that day comes and goes, and you say nothing about it, and you try to text me like nothing happens, oh no, baby, I'll stop talking to you for that because it's like, what are you talking about? Like acknowledge something about that, and I've run into like that. Like when I see like, or if you've done something like where has offended me or something we both deem as wrong. And you struggle with apologizing or you struggle with trying to like, admit to fault, I'm good.
No,
because for me, like, I feel like in recovery, I learned how to take accountability and move the fuck forward.
Here's the one that I love to go to when it comes to just communication. So the one thing that is like my number one thing that I appreciate and that like says like, okay, I'm gonna give you some time is that you be intentional. And inconsistent communication always gets me. Now, people will always come up with some excuse or, life happens and whatnot, and it's been 2 days or it's been 3 days. But here's the thing. This is why I also tell clients, when you think about where's your cell phone right now? I ask them like, in session. Oh, it's right here. How far is it from your body? Maybe at best a couple of inches because it's in their pocket, back pocket, front pocket. Maybe they've laid it out on the coffee table in front of them. So that gives them a couple of extra inches. Mm-hmm. So help me understand how something that is a couple of inches from your body that you carry with you all the time generally, it's difficult for you it takes picking it up in a couple of swipes to actually send a message. Nobody said send, like all these paragraphs, but just like doing that. And when you think about it in that way, it's like, well, yeah, I guess so. Yeah. So if it takes you that long, when you're carrying around a thing you can communicate with, there you go.
I definitely fully agree with that one. That's why I don't hear it. I mean, Regine said Lil Wayne texts or call her every day. And he has all the businesses. And he's, shakily rapping still. But like I feel like if you're busy and you can find time. I mean, we're busy and we find time. We text each other. But, people are too busy. But, if your panties on the floor and you say come over and have sex with me, they're on the way.
There you go. Lord, so much we have to dive in. I cannot wait for more episodes.